Hello, welcome back to another Models by me. This time we'll be building Italeri Bf110 1/72 scale, starting off with cockpit section. So here we are, just identifying pieces so we can actually cut them out and in turn start painting some of these out. Paint some of these. I only end up cutting a couple of the pieces off. The rest of it I leave on the sprue. It just makes it easier to paint, in my opinion. I'm not having to handle them and try and find a grip where I can actually hold it and paint it at the same time. Here we are with MIG Ammo's RLO2. Quite a nice paint, this one. It's the first time I've actually used it. And I'm just literally applying it straight out the bottle onto the model. As you can see, it does take a couple of layers, depending on how much you have in your brush, some of it will go on straight away nice and thick. If it does, just spread it out a little bit. Otherwise, yeah, it just goes on and say it will take a couple of layers, but at the moment just putting the first layer on to the different parts of the cockpit. This is where I was on about leaving some of the stuff on the sprue, makes it easier to paint. So, yep, start with the seat. I put the paint on a little bit too thick with this one initially, but maybe just to spread it out. And some of the places where it gets a little bit thicker, I just take it off with the brush and then put it elsewhere on a different part of the sprue. I do have a small paint palette just under the camera here, so that's why every now and again you'll see my hand disappear down there. Just getting more paint on the brush. Just doing the other side of these pieces, go in the cockpit. Not going to do the back of the instrument panel because you won't see it. Just got to make sure I paint the top half here. Here we go. This bit was a little redundant after I found out what after making it, is you just won't see the back or the underside of the seat. So yeah, a little redundant painting that bit. Now to paint the interior of the fuselage. These are all the bits I thought doing this side I would see when you look through the canopy and look at the cockpit, but some of this you just won't see because of the instrument panels on the side, or even the backrest where the machine gun goes into. Just going over the first bits now that the paint dries, where I missed the first time round, but just simply where I was holding these so I can paint them up. Now comes the second layer of paint. As you can see, once it dries, it does give a more consistent colour. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Here I'm literally just trying to make sure every single bit in the cockpit and the gunner section has actually got 2 layers of paint on, and it's fairly consistent. Next, back onto the back piece there. Now time for some Mechanica Standard Grey by Citadel. I'll use this on all the instrument columns on the sides, as well as anywhere else which would like be a radio or something. The instructions say to use black, but I decided to go with a dark grey instead, with a black wash over the top. Would actually give a bit more detail than just plain black. Now I'm using a bit of Avalon Sunset. This is only for one little dial or button on the instrument column there. As you see, it's just one right in the top corner here. And that is it. Now for a bit of Abaddon Black. which I will use to pick up all the dials on the column, as well as some of the dials on the radio, just on the bit to the right of the column there, the panel. I'm just checking the instructions, just to double check. I can see dials on the radio there, but the instructions aren't saying to paint them. But in the end, I decided to paint them up anyway. That black wash I was on about. I'll use good old Nun oil for this one, and this will be going over all the parts I painted in Mechanica Standard Grey. After checking the instructions, I realised these little bits on the back should have also been painted black, so just going back over Mechanica Standard Grey and then Nun oil. Time to glue everything together. So, bullshit, I actually start with the instrument panel at the front. Hindsight, I should have gone for the control column first. Put that one in there while most of it's still available, and then do the panel. The panel I thought would fit over the front half of the side columns there. It doesn't, it literally just goes straight into the end there. I later will put a little bit of extra glue on there just to like try and bond it a bit better. But there you go, I'm just trying to put the instrument column in there now. Or control column even. Make sure I get it the right way round. Both orientation and... There you go, see I knocked the panel out. There we go, one completed cockpit section. Weirdly, what I did do is I dry brushed Mechanicum Standard Grey with a bit of white over the panels and stuff, but for some reason I've lost that footage. You can see I didn't make the machine gun, but the machine gun I had left off and didn't end up gluing in the end. Here what I've done is I've mixed a little bit of the RLM02 with some white again, and I'm just dabbing it on just in the places that would be a little bit weathered, so we don't have a flat colour anymore, and it does actually look like it's being scuffed up by boots and stuff. I'm just dabbing the mixture in that. Here I've added a little bit more white into the previous mixture and just going over the edges and just putting in some more splotches here and there, but not as many as what I did the first time round. Time for a bit of painter's gold here. Agrax Earthshade. This is used all over the place. Not in the cockpit again, I'm just using it in some of the recessed areas, as well as splotching it in places again, just to give it that little bit more of a weathered and worn in look. Now on to stage 2, where we actually get to glue everything together. So I got all the pieces cut out. Unfortunately I had to file away a little bit of the back pieces here, just to make them flush a little bit later. Next, always test fit the pieces in. Potentially I might have to filed away or scraped away some of the paint I put on, but turns out it was perfectly fine. So the other thing as well with test fitting, you can see how easily the parts will actually stay in their spots. As you saw, the cockpit didn't want to stay there. Just carefully lining the two sides of the fuselage up, and then I can sandwich in the cockpit. To make sure, let's have a look, see how everything fits together. Overall, quite nice. good old glue. And we'll try and slot him into place. Now that that side is dry, let's put a bit of glue on the side of the fuselage and the cockpit so I can join the two sides together. Now time for the tail section. One of the locator studs just wasn't working properly. I had a bit of problems with this, both fit and gluing the two sides together. That's dry, I then put it on the back of the fuselage. I don't know if I might have filed away too much, but the fit wasn't that great here. I had quite a bit of fun with trying to get it all lined up properly, both make sure it wasn't bent to one side or like boot down on the end. So I had the bright idea of cutting off the horizontal stabiliser off the sprue and clipping that into place. Try and make sure everything was lined up. But I forgot the tail wheel. Remember the tail wheel? Luckily it didn't snap, I only bent it slightly before I realised and stopped putting any pressure on. At which point the tail fin had already gone in there, so yeah, just got to wait for that to dry now. Okay, stage 3, or stage C, the wings and the landing gear bays. Start again with good old RLM02. And literally just painted this straight over the parts. on goes the second layer of paint. I think you can more clearly see here with the side-by-side shots how important 2 layers of paint is at times. Give you just that more solid, consistent colour. Now time for Citadel's Mithril Silver. Use this on some of the parts in here which are labelled up as silver. I think both sides, all the arms should be silver, but I like the way I went rid of it in the end. With Abaddon black. And to paint up these pipes on the side here. I don't know if it should be black or not, but I just went with what the instructions told me in the end, which was use black. And yeah, here's where I've decided to paint these bits black. I think it should be pure silver, but I like how this turned out in the end. Here I flip the screw over so I can get a different angle on the parts I just painted. Important you do this now and again, just so you can actually get all the areas that you want painted. Here I'm using 2 versions of Nern Oil. One gives more of a satin finish, and then the gloss one gives more of a glossy version. Here I'm using the more satin version just to like dirty up the bay a little bit, as well as some oils. Something's flown off while the wheel's still spinning or at the landing gear with traction extends. And for the gloss I use on the metallic bits and the pipework. Here it is again, good old Agrat Surf Shade. So same as before, I will be literally stippling this all over the parts in the landing bay, again just to give that weathered appearance. I've got all the pieces cut out ready in the same orientation as the instructions. Quite important when it comes to the landing gear. Here I'm just test fitting them, make sure they go in. Make sure I'm happy with the starboard one, now the port one. Got rid of an extra bit of plastic that was there. I was so happy with how they just slotted in, I actually just glued them straight in. Though I did have problems trying to make sure they stayed in at times, and just made sure they were more level. Yeah, I'm just making sure, checking. Yep, all happy. Yeah, which I am. So, thank you for watching part 1 of the Bf110 build. If you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe to keep track of the rest of the build. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks, bye.